Hello YouTube. This week I've got the keys to a 2017 Honda Civic hatchback 5-door LX trim. Let's take a look. If you watched my video last week, I had a 2017 Toyota Yaris and it was $20,000. This here Civic, this is a base model LX hatchback, is with all the fees is actually $23,000. It is a 6-speed manual transmission, so you will pay about another $1,000 for the automatic, which is a CVT transmission. But is it worth $3,000 or $4,000 more than that Yaris? For me, big time. This is so far what I've driven it. It's way more fun to drive. It's larger. It's got more space. And it's a lot faster. That Yaris was noisy and slow and just didn't impress me much. Anyways, so back to the Civic 2017 LX. So this is base trim, but it seems to have quite a bit of things that you kind of want. I'll show you on the inside, but to take a look at the outside, it's a little bit polarizing looks, I guess. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not a huge fan of the back bumper here. The back bumper with these grills, I'm not sure what they were going for there. I don't know, why not just make it a flat black, but anyways, it doesn't look right to me. It is a 1.5 liter turbo engine, and it goes. So let's take a look underneath here. We've got a backup camera, as you can see here, dirty from the salt. There's your hatch. It's quite big. And this is kind of ingenious, this tonneau cover here. There's cargo cover. Normally it comes out this way, and then you have to put the piece someplace. So this one comes out and slides into the side, and you've got a wide open space without having to store that extra bar, which is really nice. Under here you've got your spare tire. So you can, store some stuff in there if you want, some emergency kits and that. There's a lot of space on the sides and in the tire. And, fold this away. And these are super easy to fold down, the seats here. Just push on this, flip them down. And as you can see, it's not a flat floor. There is a little hump there. But that does give you more space down here. So there you go. So there's quite a bit of space, actually. In a compact car. I'm gonna look back up at the trunk here. This is kind of nice, pretty rare to have. You've got a handle on both sides, which is pretty rare. So if you're left-handed or you're right-handed and you're holding stuff, you can pull that down. So into the back here, fold these seats back up. You've got a cup holder there, and it is 3 seats in the back, but you do have that center hump kind of feeling here still because you've got these nice sculpted seats. The back's got a few inches of headroom. It's not bad. It is a compact car which has grown over the years, but it feels pretty good. And you've got speakers in the back, in the door on the bottom, and tweeters up here on the top. So it's pretty nice for a base model car, really. You're getting quite a bit. And take a view of that dash from the back so you get a nice clear view of it, and then we'll go hop in the front. Okay, up front here, we've got, we'll start off with just mentioning it is a 6-speed manual transmission, as I mentioned. So there we go, and it's a 1.5 liter engine with the turbocharger, and it's offering 176 horsepower on this model. And if you get the next model up, you actually get 180 horsepower, so you get an extra 4 horsepower. But then you require premium fuel, and you only require regular fuel in this one. You get a little bit more torque as well. I believe it's 10 foot-pounds more torque. I think this is 167. And the other one's 177. There's an eco mode button here, which adjusts your throttle. I just leave it off and never use that. we've got 2 cup holders in the center here, which slide. And you've got another kind of gigantic cup holder down there, and a USB slot as well, which is nice. And you've got kind of an armrest here that also flips up. So there's tons of storage in the center console, and especially in a compact car, you don't usually get anything. So this kind of slides and moves around. It's really nice. Down here in the storage, you've got more storage here for your phone, and then there's 2 cable kind of holders, little rubber. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Hopefully, there's 2 little cable rubber things. You can kind of put your phone here and then run your cable down. It'll lock into there, and then it'll run down to the bottom. I'm not sure if the camera will grab this, but down here it's kind of hard to see. There's some USB and some power down here, so you can actually charge your phone. And this one actually lists that it's 1.5 amps for your phone. So think about what we get here in a base model compact car. You've got automatic climate control, which is really nice to have. 3-position heated seats on both sides. So you have your infotainment kind of system here. It doesn't have navigation, but you do get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So I would just plug in my phone and not worry about that. You can buy the highest level. Civic does have the navigation. The system, it works okay. It's not my favorite system in the world. It's pretty basic. There are some apps in that, but I don't want to touch it. It's really confusing. I hit gallery while I was driving the other day, and then the radio stopped working, and I couldn't use the radio anymore. I had to shut off the car, and then actually had to shut it off and leave it for about 10 minutes to turn it back on. If I just shut it off and back on, I couldn't get my audio back. And even like I was pressing all these buttons and it just kept saying, sorry, you can't do this while you're driving. And I wasn't even driving. So it was totally messed up. I will show you the trip computer in here. So under info, you can see your current driving, trip computer, average fuel economy, and your previous drive, which is nice, as well as a history of your trip. And you can delete that and it'll show you a long-term history. So if you kind of like to monitor your long-term history of driving, that's pretty good. I've gone 339 kilometers and averaged 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers, which is pretty nice. Over here on the steering wheel, you've got cruise control. Again, nice to have in a base model. And telephone controls, voice activation, as well as controls for the radio and this system here. So this is a little bit confusing as well. I'm not sure what's going on here, but if you hit the info button, you'll see that it changes it to fuel. So then I can hit enter and I can look at my trip. No, see, I can't. Okay, so let's go back there. If I hit up and down, I can look at my trip. No, it switches between AM, FM. Again, confusing. If I hit info and I hit sideways with the same arrows, now I can look at, how my turbo is doing. And I can, go into the music or my phone and look at things like that. But these buttons here on the left, they do 2 things. They kind of control your radio as well as this info screen. So it's a little bit confusing until you get used to it, I guess. I've been driving for a week and I'm still not used to it. Anyways. The other thing is the volume control. So I don't know, why not just put a dial or 2 buttons? But anyways, Honda really loves the confusing volume controls. Huge pet peeve of mine. This one's not bad. But this one over here, where is my knob? I keep reaching over to turn up the volume or turn it down. And you have to kind of, you can hit this, or you can slide your finger. And it just, it's horrible. Just please just put a knob back, Honda. At least I have this over here on the left, so it kind of saving me from driving me crazy. What else do we have in here? So the nice digital, it's all digital, flat kind of panel display. You've got a huge tach with the digital speedometer in the middle. And you've got your fuel gauge over on the right, and on the left you've got your temperature gauge. So pretty basic. You've got a clock in there and your outside temperature as well. It's pretty basic, but it works well. And one last thing I must mention in here is the power electronic brake, parking brake. With a manual transmission, this is so annoying. I want to stop, pull the handbrake, but I have to stop, push this button down. And then I have to, when I leave, it's not just a quick, you know, drop it and go. I have to make sure my foot is on the brake. It won't let you turn it off unless your foot's on the brake. So take your foot off, you know, put your foot on the brake, push it, take off your foot off the brake, and then go. It does have a nice feature though. It does have this because it doesn't have the manual pull handle. It has this brake hold. So if you stop at a light, you can actually press this button, put the vehicle in neutral, and take your feet off the brake and the clutch now, and you can kind of just sit there and the brake lights will stay on and the car won't move. So that is kind of a bonus. If you're on a hill, that makes it really easy to get going for the manual transmission. I guess there's a benefit to that. I've used it a few times when sitting in traffic. There is no sunroof on the base model. There is visors with mirrors, but they kind of take the light out, because that's probably in the next model up. I know you want that, then you got to spend another couple $1,000s to get that light. You've got your glove box here, which is a good size. The seats are nice. This is all kind of nice, rubbery kind of trim. This is kind of hard, and this is kind of rubbery, and you got hard up here. It's kind of got the soft materials in the places you want them, and the hard materials where you won't really notice them. And there's a ton of legroom down here, although some bigger people might complain that they'll bash their knee into this hard plastic, but I'm not very big, so it doesn't bother me. Well, let's take it for a drive. Oh, the one thing I didn't say whenever I was looking at the interior is, hopefully you can see it in the dash here, there's kind of these green LED bars that come up on the top, and they'll go white as you accelerate hard or you're in the wrong gear. And as you see, if I accelerate harder, they go white, and then I get off the gas and they'll go back to green, put it in 6th gear, and they'll be green. So that's to show you how to drive more economically. Everything's about being eco these days. Now the car is not, I wouldn't say quiet, I wouldn't say loud either. It's kind of average. It's got a little bit of road noise to it. This car does have, again, winter tires on it. Hopefully winter tires on my testers will be over in the next week or so. But we did get a good dump of snow, as you can see out there, yesterday. And, you know, this car really does drive nice. It's fun to drive. It handles really well. The suspension is nice and firm, but still compliant. Honda has really figured out how to make the Civic a comfortable, fun to drive, and easy to live with car. On the highway, 6th gear, the engine revs around 2,700 RPM or so. So you can hear a little bit, but it's not bad. It kind of rumbles a little bit, but it doesn't really get on your nerves or anything like that. Like I said, I've been achieving amazing fuel economy this week. Currently 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers over the week, which is really good. Let's do a quick acceleration, some wheel spin, and we're up to 80 already, 100 kilometers an hour almost. Let's slow down here because it's not a 100 zone, so I'll only get up to 90, but it's pretty quick. It's not a rocket ship, but it feels a lot faster than it is because of the torque. Compared to that Yaris I drove last week, it feels like a rocket ship. I'm really having fun driving this week. The manual transmission, adds that fun to drive factor as well. It's, really slick, easy to use. Clutch is easy to modulate and super light. So it is fun. Well, there you have it. Quick overview of the 2017 Honda Civic Hatchback. I think it really is a great competitor in the market. It's a nice looking car as far as I'm concerned. I don't like the back of it, but I like the front. Side profile looks kind of like an Accord, maybe a little bit larger than the Civic used to be. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Until the next video.